Have you ever looked at your life and felt like something invisible was pulling the strings, repeating the same scenes over and over? It's like staring into a foggy mirror. You see fragments of yourself, but never the full clarity of who you truly are. If these words found you, it's not random. The quantum field placed them in front of you because your consciousness has reached a critical threshold. You didn't stumble here by accident. You were selected. Right now, your system is ready to receive the frequency of coherence, the missing link that transforms confusion into alignment, noise into harmony, fragments into wholeness. Coherence is more than focus. It is the synchronization of your heart, your mind, and your electromagnetic field. When this alignment occurs, you stop scattering energy into old loops. You stop replaying the broken record of yesterday. Instead, you become a quantum transmitter. Your very presence begins collapsing higher timelines into reality. Most people live and die in incoherence. They try harder, add habits, force their way forward, yet remain trapped in repeating probabilities. But you are different because you are here, and here is the hidden promise in the next few minutes. You will learn 3 coherence exercises you can do in under 5 minutes. They are not abstract rituals or complicated techniques. They are direct activations tools to shift your field immediately. Take a deep breath. Feel your body. Notice the subtle shift already moving through your chest as you read these words. This is not imagination. This is the beginning of coherence. Most people think of coherence as simple calmness or relaxation, but true coherence is far more than that. It is a precise quantum state where your heart, your brain, and your electromagnetic field begin to operate in harmony. Like instruments in a perfectly tuned orchestra, when your system is incoherent, it feels like every instrument is playing a different song. Your mind races with one melody, your emotions cry with another, and your body struggles to keep up with the dissonance. The result is static noise stress, anxiety, and an ongoing sense that something is off even when nothing appears wrong externally. But when coherence happens, it's as if the entire orchestra tunes to the same frequency. The mind slows, the heart expands, the nervous system calms, and your energy field projects a stable, rhythmic pattern. Scientists at the HeartMath Institute have shown that coherent states create measurable electromagnetic fields extending several feet beyond the body. Fields that influence not only your own biology, but the environment around you. In spiritual traditions, coherence has always been known under different names: inner alignment, harmony, grace, even divine presence. Mystics understood what modern quantum research is proving, that coherence is the gateway to transformation. In this state, you don't just feel peaceful. You become a living transmitter of order in a chaotic universe. And here's the key insight. Coherence isn't about adding more effort. You don't force your way into alignment. Coherence arises the moment you stop scattering energy into contradictions and allow your whole being to vibrate as one field. It is less about doing and more about allowing. Think of it as tuning a radio. When the signal is scrambled, you only hear static. But the moment you align precisely with the frequency, the music comes through clear. Coherence is that clear channel, the moment when your reality begins to harmonize with your highest timeline. When incoherence dominates, life feels like trying to walk through a house of shattered mirrors. Each reflection shows a distorted piece of you, but never the whole picture. You wake up with thoughts running one way, emotions pulling another, and your body struggling to keep balance. It's not that life is objectively harder. It's that your inner system is fragmented. This fragmentation creates what many mystics and quantum researchers describe as the observer loop. Instead of collapsing new possibilities, your consciousness keeps choosing the same familiar frequencies. The result is repetition, the same conversations, the same disappointments, the same looping outcomes. You might change cities, jobs, or relationships, yet the underlying pattern follows you like a shadow. Incoherence also alters how you experience time. Minutes can feel like hours when stuck in tension, while entire weeks vanish with no sense of progress. This is not poor time management, it's temporal distortion. Your awareness keeps circling the same probability templates, creating the illusion of movement while actually staying in place. On a physiological level, incoherence floods the body with stress hormones. The heart rhythm becomes erratic. The brain waves lose synchrony, and the nervous system operates in survival mode. You may feel restless, anxious, or disconnected even when nothing bad is happening externally. Incoherence is the hidden static that scrambles both your perception and your ability to create consciously. But here's the subtle trap. When people notice incoherence, they usually respond by forcing control, working harder, thinking more, pushing against the very field that's misaligned. This only amplifies the noise. It's like trying to fix a broken record by pressing down harder on the needle. The more effort you apply, the deeper the groove of repetition becomes. The truth is, incoherence isn't a personal failure. It's simply a feedback signal from your field. It's your system's way of saying, you're scattering energy. Pause. Reset. When you learn to recognize incoherence not as an enemy but as a guide, you gain the first key to breaking free. Because only when you see the loop clearly can you step outside it. How do you know when incoherence has taken over? The signs are subtle at first, but once you recognize them, you can't unsee them. They are the whispers of your field telling you that alignment has fractured. The first sign is mental fragmentation. Your thoughts scatter like static electricity. You try to focus, yet your mind keeps looping around the same worries. Instead of clarity, you feel like you're trapped in fog, busy, but unproductive. The second sign is emotional dissonance. You feel drained by conversations, overstimulated in crowds, or strangely restless in solitude. Your emotions swing without clear cause, like waves colliding against each other. This isn't weakness. It's your heart field struggling to synchronize with your mind. The third sign is time distortion. Hours can drag endlessly when you're anxious, but entire weeks vanish when you're stuck in autopilot. You look back and wonder, where did all that time go? This isn't poor planning. It's evidence that your awareness is locked in repeating templates rather than creating new probability streams. Another powerful sign is disrupted synchronicity. Normally, when you're in flow, life feels like a cascade of meaningful coincidences. But in incoherence, synchronicities feel broken. The right people don't appear, opportunities slip away. And even small daily rhythms feel misaligned. It's as if you're walking against the current of your own destiny. On the physical level, incoherence often manifests as restless sleep, shallow breathing, or a tightness in the chest. Your body becomes the stage where energetic misalignment plays out, and if left unaddressed, this state becomes so normalized that you forget what true harmony feels like. But the most important sign is recognition itself. The fact that you can sense incoherence means your system is ready to shift. Awareness is already breaking the spell, because incoherence only traps you when you're unconscious of it. Once you name it, once you see it clearly, the loop begins to lose its grip. One of the clearest signals that you are moving closer to coherence is the phenomenon of time ripples. You've felt it before, the strange sensation that time is bending around you, refusing to behave in its usual linear way. Minutes can stretch endlessly when you are absorbed in presence, while hours can vanish in what feels like a blink. This is not poor memory or distraction. It is evidence that your consciousness is no longer confined to rigid, linear time. Instead, you are beginning to access what physicists call block time, where past, present, and future exist simultaneously like pages of a book. When you're incoherent, you keep rereading the same page, trapped in repetition. But when coherence begins to emerge, it's as if you suddenly realize you can turn the page. Time ripples often show up during states of deep emotion or heightened awareness. You may notice that in moments of gratitude, time seems to slow, allowing you to savor every detail. In moments of flow, entire hours disappear effortlessly. These distortions are not glitches, they are confirmations. They signal that your awareness is loosening from the old templates that kept you bound in loops. What's remarkable is how physical these ripples feel. Sometimes your body tingles, your chest expands, or your perception sharpens as if reality itself has widened. These sensations are not random. They are the nervous system adapting to coherence, recalibrating to a frequency where time is no longer a cage, but a flexible field. Recognizing time ripples is powerful because it reframes them from confusion into guidance. Instead of fearing that something is wrong, you realize something extraordinary is happening. Your system is preparing you to live in coherence, where time bends not against you, but for you. Another unmistakable sign that coherence is approaching is the sensation of heart expansion. You've probably felt it before. Your chest suddenly feels lighter, as if invisible pressure has lifted. In that moment, breathing becomes easier, and an inner spaciousness opens inside you. This is not simply emotion, it is physiology. Your electromagnetic field is shifting into harmony. When the heart begins to generate coherent rhythms, its signals dominate the entire nervous system. The brain, instead of firing in scattered patterns, falls into synchronization with the heart's rhythm. You feel this as warmth in your chest, tingling around your sternum, or even subtle waves of peace radiating through your body. The coherent state is measurable. Heart rhythms form smooth, sine wave patterns that correspond with increased clarity, focus, and resilience. But beyond the science, the experience itself is transformative. In moments of heart expansion, the world feels less threatening. Conversations soften. Synchronicities increase. You notice beauty in ordinary details that previously went unseen. It's as if your perception widens, allowing you to experience reality, not from survival mode, but from wholeness. Mystics across traditions describe this sensation as awakening of the heart center. In Christian mysticism, it's called grace. In Eastern traditions, it's the opening of the heart chakra. Modern research now confirms what they intuited: the heart field governs far more than blood flow. It governs perception, intuition, and the way you collapse probability into experience. What makes heart expansion such a crucial sign is that it doesn't require effort. It often arrives spontaneously during gratitude, deep breathing, or even in silence. You can't force it, you can only allow it. And when it happens, it is proof that your system is entering coherence. So if you've felt your chest lighten, your heart soften, or your breath deepen without cause, recognize it. These are not random moods. They are signals. They are your field aligning, preparing you to embody a higher timeline through coherence. As coherence begins to activate, reality itself starts sending signals, what mystics call synchronicities. These are not random coincidences. They are the language of the quantum field, showing you that your inner state and outer reality are aligning. You might notice the same numbers repeating, like 1111 or 2222 on clocks. You might run into people who mention exactly what you were just thinking about. A book or video appears at the precise moment you need it. These synchronicities intensify as your field grows more coherent because reality is mirroring back your alignment. Dreams also shift dramatically. Instead of fragmented images, you experience vivid, hyper-real dreamscapes. You may meet familiar faces in unfamiliar settings, travel to crystalline cities, or receive teachings from beings of light. These are not simply subconscious stories. They are probability streams, alternate versions of reality that your consciousness is beginning to access. Incoherence produces chaotic, restless dreams that leave you drained. But coherence produces dreams that feel purposeful, infused with meaning, often leaving you with clear guidance upon waking. Sometimes you wake with a sense of déjà vu, as if your dream already prepared you for the day ahead. This is not imagination. It is your system bridging timelines, collapsing higher probabilities into waking life. The key is not to dismiss these experiences. Synchronicities and vivid dreams are confirmations. They are the universe whispering, you are tuning correctly. Keep going. The more you notice them, the stronger they become, because observation amplifies their frequency. So if you've been seeing repeating numbers, experiencing uncanny alignments, or dreaming with extraordinary clarity, recognize it. These are not accidents. They are evidence that your coherence key is activating. Reality is reorganizing around you, and your consciousness is learning to navigate across timelines with awareness. Observer effect is commonly described as a laboratory finding about particles, but for conscious beings it points to a practical truth. Attention shapes reality. When you observe, you do not merely register what already exists. You become an active participant in collapsing probability into a single outcome. In everyday language, that means your focus, emotion, and expectation tilt the field towards certain possibilities and away from others. This is why worry often produces the very problems it tries to prevent. Intense observation of lack amplifies that probability. Conversely, measured, coherent attention stabilizes new patterns and makes higher probability outcomes more likely. Science offers support. Experiments show that the act of measurement changes quantum systems. Neuroscience shows that attention sculpts neural pathways. Heart field studies show that emotional coherence broadcasts measurable electromagnetic patterns. Put together, these findings point to a unified mechanism. The quality of your attention is a causal agent in how probabilities resolve in your life. That's why techniques that change only external behavior without shifting inner attention tend to fail. They don't alter the underlying field that selects experience. Coherence works because it changes the field itself. Heart and mind harmonize, nervous system calms, and attention moves from reactive loops into creative orientation. When you practice aligning breath, feeling, and focused intention, you give the system a new template to resolve into a different set of probabilities that favors wholeness, clarity, and higher timelines. This is not wishful thinking. It is disciplined practice of attention as a technology, the ancient art of choosing where consciousness anchors. Now supported by measurable phenomena, start small, direct your attention with clarity, hold a coherent feeling in the heart, and watch how the field begins to rearrange around that focus. Over time, this becomes second nature. You cease reacting to the old templates and instead habitually choose the probabilities that reflect your true priorities, values, and highest intentions. The observer effect is not passive observation. It's an active, embodied skill we can cultivate to become deliberate creators rather than accidental sufferers of circumstance. Begin today, and your probabilities will begin to follow. Entanglement is one of the strangest and most beautiful truths science has ever discovered. Particles, separated by infinite distance, still mirror each other instantly. But what physicists describe in laboratories is only a fraction of what you live every day as consciousness, because entanglement is not limited to particles. It extends to thoughts, emotions, timelines, and souls. This is why you sometimes think of someone and they suddenly message you, why you sense another's emotions before they speak, why synchronicities cluster around you like coded signals. These are not coincidences. They are living proof of quantum entanglement playing out through your awareness. At the deepest level, everything is already connected. Every version of you across every possible timeline is entangled with the one you inhabit now. Every choice, every possibility, every outcome exists as a resonant vibration in the field. When you feel déjà vu or sense that you are remembering a future moment, that is entanglement, revealing itself, threads of connection between parallel selves shimmering through into conscious recognition. It is your higher awareness letting you know you are not isolated. You are part of a living quantum network. This truth shifts how we see relationships. The people who enter your life by chance are often entangled with you across multiple timelines, playing roles in your awakening that neither of you consciously planned. The resonance you feel when meeting someone new, the inexplicable recognition, is entanglement whispering. We've done this before. Every heartbreak, every alliance, every teacher-student dynamic, all are patterns of entangled consciousness, working to refine your frequency. Practicing coherence amplifies this entanglement in empowering ways. When your heart and mind align, Your electromagnetic field stabilizes, and your connections broadcast with greater clarity into the web of reality. You become a node of coherence in a universe of interference, and others feel it instantly. This is why embodying coherence is not only personal healing, it's collective influence. Each moment you hold your frequency with integrity, you recalibrate the entangled network of humanity itself. Entanglement means your shift is never just yours. Every breakthrough you embody ripples outward, rearranging probabilities not only for you but for all. This is how awakening spreads through entangled resonance, one coherent soul at a time. Resonance is the secret bridge between inner coherence and outer reality. When two systems vibrate at the same frequency, they amplify each other, creating waves far greater than either could produce alone. This is why a single voice can shatter glass when it strikes the precise pitch, and why tuning forks set near each other begin to hum in harmony. Resonance is not just physics, it is the architecture of manifestation. When your inner field is incoherent, you broadcast a chaotic signal. The universe cannot lock onto it, so opportunities, relationships, and timelines slip through like static on a broken radio. But when you embody coherence, your signal becomes clear, rhythmic, and magnetic. Suddenly, life begins to reflect you with precision. The right people appear, synchronicities align, doors open that seemed immovable. This is not luck. It is resonance responding to your coherence. Resonance also explains why collective fields are so powerful. One coherent person in a group can stabilize the nervous systems of many, just as a single steady drumbeat can bring dancers into rhythm. When multiple people embody coherence together, the field magnifies exponentially, creating a morphic resonance that reshapes probabilities on a collective scale. This is why gatherings of intention, meditation, or prayer produce measurable effects beyond the individuals present. The practice, then, is simple but profound. Embody coherence, not only for yourself, but as a service to the whole. Every time you breathe with awareness, every time you align heart and mind, you are broadcasting a frequency that others unconsciously tune into. You may never see the ripples, but they exist. Resonance proves that coherence is not isolation. It is participation. It is how your inner state becomes architecture for the outer world, and once you learn to hold this frequency with integrity, reality itself has no choice but to dance in rhythm with you. For years, the observer effect has been presented as the holy grail of quantum spirituality. The idea that your attention collapses reality has inspired countless teachings. And while this is true, it is also incomplete. Because what most people practice is only the shadow of the real mechanism. Here's the problem: when you believe observation alone is the key, you end up watching your life like a movie, hoping reality will change because you are staring at it differently. You shift focus, repeat affirmations, or try to visualize better outcomes, but the field doesn't always respond. Why? Because observation without coherence is unstable. A scattered heart and restless mind send mixed signals into the field. The result is partial manifestation at best, or disappointment at worst. Think of it like shining a flashlight through fractured glass. The light scatters, creating distorted patterns that never fully illuminate the path. That is the shadow of the observer effect: energy dispersed, intentions fragmented, reality echoing back incoherence. The hidden truth is that observation was never meant to stand alone. The real key is embodied coherence. Only when heart, mind, and field vibrate together does observation gain power. Only then does the flashlight beam become a quantum spotlight, cutting through distortion and illuminating the timeline you choose. This is why so many spiritual seekers feel stuck. They have mastered watching but not embodying. They know how to look but not how to align. And until coherence enters the equation, the observer effect remains a shadow of its true potential. The hidden truth is this: observation alone does not shift reality. You cannot simply look at a higher timeline and expect it to appear. You must become the frequency of that timeline. Only then does the field respond. Because you are no longer asking, it is recognizing you as the vibration itself. Think of tuning a radio. If you stand outside the dial, no matter how long you stare at the numbers, no music will play. But the moment you align exactly with the frequency, the station comes alive. This is coherence. It is not hoping, not visualizing, but embodying the very signal you wish to receive. When your heart, mind, and field vibrate together, you stop being a seeker and become the broadcast. This is why affirmations often feel hollow. Words without frequency are static. But when spoken from coherence, a single phrase carries the power of creation. I am coherent with my highest timeline is not a wish. It is a declaration, a statement of resonance that the universe cannot ignore. Because at the quantum level, like attracts, like not through desire, but through vibration, becoming the frequency also explains why forcing change fails. Effort rooted in fear still vibrates in coherence. You may change actions, but the field remains scattered. Transformation occurs only when your entire being relaxes into coherence. In that surrender, you naturally align with the reality you once chased, so the real practice is not to demand, but to embody. Breathe coherence. Feel coherence. Live coherence. When you become the frequency, manifestation ceases to be an event. It becomes a natural extension of your state. At that point, the question is not, will this reality arrive, but how could it not? Because the moment you embody coherence, the shift is already complete. Imagine standing in a vast theater of infinite stages. Countless versions of reality exist all around you, but only one is lit. Wherever the spotlight shines, that is the version of reality you experience. The secret is this: coherence is the hand that directs the light. Without it, the beam scatters, and the stage you want remains hidden in the dark. Most people unconsciously let their spotlight flicker between fear, doubt, and distraction. The result is a fragmented show, half-formed opportunities, repeating dramas, timelines that collapse before they fully emerge. But when you cultivate coherence, the spotlight sharpens into a clear, steady beam. Suddenly, the stage of your highest timeline is illuminated and reality rushes forward to meet it. This is why the observer effect alone feels incomplete. Observation without coherence is like shining a flashlight with dying batteries dim, unstable, unable to reach far. But coherence charges the beam. It turns your attention into a quantum spotlight, powerful enough to pierce through interference and lock on to the reality you choose. Think about the moments when you were deeply aligned, heart steady, mind calm, energy focused. Didn't life seem to organize itself effortlessly? The right call came. The right words flowed, the right door opened. That was your spotlight in action, directing reality with precision. The practice is not to chase every possible stage, but to stabilize your light. Every breath of coherence, every moment of heart-mind alignment strengthens the beam. And the stronger the spotlight, the less effort you need. Reality doesn't resist it, reorganizes, because the field cannot ignore a steady signal. So remember this: you are not wandering through a dark theater waiting for the show to begin. You are the director holding the spotlight. Where you shine it in coherence becomes the stage of your life. The first coherence exercise is called heart breathing, and it takes less than 3 minutes. Place your hand gently on the center of your chest, right over your heart. Close your eyes if you wish. Now slow down your breath, not forcing it, just letting it lengthen naturally. Inhale deeply for a count of 4. Hold for a moment. Then exhale softly for a count of 6. Do this 3 times. As you breathe, imagine that the air is moving directly through your heart. Feel each inhale expanding your chest, and each exhale softening it. With every cycle, the rhythm of your body begins to synchronize. The mind calms, the heart stabilizes, and the nervous system shifts from survival mode into harmony. Now add a simple phrase. As you exhale, whisper silently inside, I am coherent with my highest timeline. These words are not just affirmations, they are tuning commands. spoken through the heart field. They broadcast a signal into the quantum fabric around you. 3 breaths are enough to reset your system. What's remarkable is how quickly you feel the shift. A warmth spreads in your chest. Your thoughts quiet down. Time feels slower, clearer. This is coherence activating in real time. You are no longer scattered, you are broadcasting. And when you hold this broadcast, reality begins to reorganize. You don't need candles, music, or ritual. Just 3 conscious breaths, spoken through the heart, are enough to collapse the old loop and anchor the new. Practice this any time in the morning, before sleep, or whenever you feel scattered. Each breath is not only oxygen, it is alignment, coherence, and the beginning of a higher reality. The second exercise is called Quantum Mirror Reset, and it takes only 2 minutes. Close your eyes and imagine yourself standing before a mirror made of pure light. At first, the reflection may look blurry, fractured, or clouded, like glass covered in dust. This is the mirror of your current field, cluttered with old thoughts, emotions, and timelines that no longer serve you. Now, take a slow breath in. As you exhale, imagine the fog lifting from the glass. The distortion begins to fade. Another breath, and cracks smooth out, pieces realign. One more breath, and the surface shines crystal clear. In the reflection, you no longer see the fragmented self. You see the highest version of you, radiant and coherent. The key here is not to force the image, but to allow it. Your subconscious knows how to restore clarity when given permission. By imagining the mirror clearing, you signal to your field reset. Old entanglements dissolve, and the coherent self emerges as the dominant broadcast. To seal the exercise, silently affirm, I release all distorted reflections. I embody the clearest frequency of me. As these words resonate, feel the mirror dissolve into light, merging back into your heart. The reset is complete. You have collapsed the false images and anchored the truest self. What makes Quantum Mirror Reset powerful is its immediacy. In just a few breaths, you bypass endless analysis and symbolically rewrite your field. The fractured glass no longer defines you. The coherent reflection takes its place, and reality begins adjusting to match it. Whenever you feel lost, overwhelmed, or trapped in old patterns, return to the mirror. Let it clear. Let it remind you who you already are, the coherent self that has always been waiting behind the fog. The third exercise is called Time Ripple Awareness, and it helps you anchor coherence by shifting how you experience time itself. Most of the stress and incoherence you feel comes from being trapped in rigid linear time, constantly racing against clocks, regretting the past, or fearing the future. Time Ripple Awareness frees you from that trap and returns you to flow. Here's how to practice. Find a quiet spot, close your eyes, and take 3 slow breaths. Now imagine time not as a straight line, but as an ocean. Each moment is a ripple moving outward, intersecting and blending with others. Instead of being dragged along by the current, you are floating on its surface, aware of the waves, but not enslaved by them. Next, recall a recent moment when time felt distorted, perhaps a joyful conversation that flew by, or a silent pause that stretched endlessly. Hold that memory. Now whisper silently, time bends for coherence. As you repeat this phrase, notice how your body softens. The nervous system recognizes the command. Time is no longer an enemy, but a pliable field. The purpose of this exercise is not to escape time, but to reframe it. When you stop clinging to rigid minutes and hours, coherence arises naturally. You begin to act from timeless presence rather than rushed compulsion. Decisions come with clarity. Creativity flows without pressure. Even ordinary tasks feel lighter because you are no longer measuring them against the ticking of a clock. To seal the practice, open your eyes slowly and affirm, I walk in ripples, not chains. Feel the truth of those words echo in your chest. Every time you return to this awareness, The old timeline of hurry and regret collapses, and a higher timeline of presence emerges. With practice, you will notice that synchronicities increase, intuition sharpens, and life feels more fluid. That is coherence embedding itself into your relationship with time. You are no longer bound to the clock. You are aligned with the rhythm of the field. True empowerment does not come from concepts alone. It comes from embodiment. You can study coherence, understand the observer effect, even recite affirmations, but until your body feels it, the shift remains incomplete. Embodiment means your breath, your heartbeat, your posture, and your choices are aligned with the frequency you claim. Think of it this way: electricity is meaningless unless it flows through a wire. In the same way, coherence is potential until it moves through you as lived experience. Each time you practice heart breathing, mirror reset, or time ripple awareness, you are not just doing an exercise. You are programming your nervous system to carry coherence as its baseline. This is where empowerment takes root. You stop waiting for external change to validate your inner state. Instead, you embody coherence so fully that reality must reorganize in response. You walk into a room, and people feel calmer. You speak, and your words land with clarity. You move, and synchronicities align with your steps. Embodiment is the bridge between knowing and becoming. The more consistently you live coherence through the body, the less effort you need. Empowerment stops being a goal and becomes your natural state. Coherence does not require hours of meditation. It can be woven into your daily rhythm through micro-practices, tiny, intentional acts that stabilize your field. These moments take less than a minute, but repeated often, they reshape your baseline frequency. For example, before opening your phone in the morning, pause for one deep breath into your heart and silently whisper, "I choose coherence first." When walking between tasks, slow down for 5 steps and imagine each footprint rippling coherence into the ground. Before sending a message or speaking an important word, place a hand on your chest for a heartbeat and let your field settle. These micro-practices work because coherence compounds. Each act is like dropping a stone into still water. The ripples overlap, strengthening each other until the whole lake vibrates in harmony. You don't need dramatic rituals. You need consistent reminders. Over time, these small moments become second nature. You don't think about coherence, you live it. And when coherence becomes automatic, empowerment is no longer something you practice. It is the invisible atmosphere you carry everywhere, subtly transforming spaces, conversations, and timelines through your presence alone. Empowerment becomes real only when it moves from intention into action. Coherence is not meant to stay in meditation. It must express through the choices you make in daily life. Every action is an anchor, telling the field which timeline you choose to embody. The practice is simple. Take one small action each day that reflects coherence. If your heart feels expansive, send a message of gratitude to someone. If your mind is clear, organize a space around you. If your breath feels steady, make a decision you have been postponing. These are not random tasks. They are declarations that your state of coherence has weight in the physical world. Action anchor energy. Without it, coherence can fade back into abstraction. But when embodied through movement, coherence solidifies into momentum. Over time, these small steps accumulate, proving to your nervous system that empowerment is not just a feeling but a lived reality. So don't wait for the perfect moment to act. Let coherence guide you in the next ordinary step, however small. With each action aligned to your heart, and coherence is never just personal. Each time you breathe into your heart, you are not only stabilizing your own field, you are strengthening the collective heartbeat of humanity. Science confirms that the electromagnetic field of the heart extends far beyond the body. When many people practice coherence together, those fields overlap, creating measurable effects in the environment. This is why group meditations reduce violence in cities, why collective prayer shifts outcomes, why communities rise when people gather in shared intention. The collective heartbeat is real, and every pulse of coherence you generate contributes to it. Think of it as a great drum resonating through the quantum field. Your heartbeat joins others, forming a rhythm strong enough to entrain the nervous systems of millions. This is not poetic, it is physics. Frequency spreads. Resonance synchronizes. And through coherence, the fragmented world begins to remember its unity. When you practice coherence, you are not just helping yourself, you are anchoring hope for the whole. Every breath becomes an act of service. Every moment of alignment a contribution to the awakening of the collective. The heartbeat of humanity grows stronger each time you choose coherence. Beyond the collective heartbeat lies a deeper field morphic resonance. This is the principle that once a pattern is established in consciousness, it becomes easier for others to access. Every act of coherence you embody does not vanish when you finish. It imprints into the field, leaving a template for others to follow. Think of it like carving a trail through a forest. The first time, the path is difficult, full of obstacles. But with every step, the trail becomes clearer. Eventually, others can walk it with ease. Your coherence is that trail. When you breathe in alignment, others unconsciously sense the possibility and find it easier to step into coherence themselves. This is why individual awakening always accelerates collective awakening. The more people embody coherence, the stronger the resonance field becomes, until it tips reality into a new baseline frequency. What feels impossible for one person becomes effortless for millions once the pattern locks in. So never underestimate your practice. Each breath, each micro shift, each act of coherence echoes far beyond your personal life. Through morphic resonance, your awakening is not just yours, it becomes part of humanity's inheritance. Imagine humanity as a vast web of lights, each person a node in the network. Some lights flicker dimly, others shine brighter, but all are connected. When you practice coherence, your light strengthens, and its glow extends along the threads. Nearby nodes brighten, and soon clusters ignite. This is how awakening spreads, not through preaching, but through resonance. The network does not need everyone to awaken at once. Just as a single spark can ignite dry wood, a critical mass of coherence is enough to shift the entire system. This is why your personal practice matters more than you realize. Each moment you stabilize coherence, you are adding voltage to the grid of collective consciousness. Over time, the network begins to hum. Connections that once felt dormant come alive. You find yourself drawn to people, ideas, and opportunities that accelerate your awakening. And in turn, your presence becomes a catalyst for others. Awakening the network is not about saving the world. It is about remembering that the world is already one system, waiting to synchronize. When you embody coherence, you activate your part of the grid, and the entire web vibrates closer to unity. You did not arrive here by accident. Every word you've absorbed is part of your awakening, the reminder that coherence is the hidden key. It is not something you must chase. It is something you can embody right now. Through breath, mirror, time ripples, and daily micro-practices, you hold the power to collapse old loops and stabilize higher timelines. The truth is simple. You are not separate from the field. Every coherent breath you take influences the collective heartbeat, strengthens morphic resonance, and brightens the human network. Your personal empowerment is never just yours. It radiates outward, shaping probabilities for countless others. So let this be your declaration. I am coherent with my highest timeline. I broadcast clarity. I embody unity. Speak it, feel it, live it. The moment you declare, the shift is irreversible. Now the invitation is yours. Share in the comments, what timeline are you ready to anchor? What declaration calls to your heart? The more you voice it, the stronger the resonance grows. Together, we are not only awakening individually, we are synchronizing a collective quantum shift, and it all begins with you, here, now, choosing coherence.